right, it's crystallized, but
Okay, we're on the air now.
all right, sweet.
Sweet. We'll get a sound check to see how it's going here and everything. Yeah. Yeah, Mgtow sometimes is it's a lot.
All right, sweet.
We'll get a sound check to see there we go. Going. Okay, we got a sound check and everything. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of man. My big concern lately is I see these. I was watching a young man the other day. He he was he was telling everybody that he was paying this woman $200 a week for her to come around,
Jesus, man.
and he was
I mean, the
justifying
thing
that.
is,
He
I
was
believe
using,
it.
yeah, he was using MGTOW like rhetoric to justify it too, like that twisted sort of MGTOW rhetoric.
That dangerous Mgtow sort of rhetoric.
Yeah, that PUA and that stuff and everything. And all I think is like, man, $200 a month, where you could, a week. He was saying up $200 a week, and you can put that money in the bank. You can, save for your future. But I guess at that age, when you're stiff all the time, and and I mean, you're not really thinking about your future, are you? I mean,
Well,
the
that's
guys,
exactly it, Joe. I mean, that's exactly the problem. I mean, I don't know what age that guy is, but I'd say he could be around my age. And it's certainly not so easy when you're younger, But I mean, obviously, that's the whole philosophy, around the whole. Well, I mean, like MGTOW and beyond is just generally speaking, just having your own best interests at heart for the long term future. I mean, if it's a thing that you want some human interaction, or you want some,
yeah,
because that's all it seems to be at that level. If that's where you're going, and that's kind of what's pushing you in that direction. I mean, it might necessarily just be about the intercourse. It's probably about all the other things that go along with it. So,
right.
that 20 minutes that you have, when you're in bed with her. I mean, you got to think about the other like 23 hours and 4 minutes of the day when
Yeah,
you're not doing it. So that's that's the rest of it. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
That
yeah.
20 minutes don't cost nothing. It's that other 23 hours that cost.
Oh, that's
Entertainment. You become the entertainment. I mean, you got to keep her happy. You got to do all those
sucks
things.
the life out of it. That's what sucks the life out of it. And it's just you realize that on a fundamental level, you're just two very different, beings, and it's a
Yeah.
strange thing. I mean, I hear about the stories from the guys, like I was telling you before we went live. The guys who I work with, who came off the oil and gas rigs a couple of years ago, and they were out in Saudi Arabia and Kazakhstan and like Chad and all these places out in the Far East, and all that. And what they were saying is, you go into one of the locals' houses, and it's like they have two different doors, because for one for the men and one for the women. It's like it's. I'm not saying that that's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what
It's just
what
the
they
way they
have
do it.
they have the idea crystallized that men and women are very different. And it's worth remembering. I don't know. Would you? I don't know. Is it really a human? I don't know. Is it a human? Is it very like humanitarian to be insisting that you have two fucking doors in your house? But hey, but I think they had the. I think they have. They at least they were thinking. That's what I say.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching a thing in kind of go in India right now, that shrine that they opened up,
All right.
and it was the shrine of Apapaha or something like that. But
Okay.
Apapalo, he was a celibate god figure, and they wouldn't let girls in from 10 to 50, or women in from 10 to 50 that they figured were menstruating, because it would be an
Yeah.
insult to the god. But they're marching on that now. The feminists are like marching on it and saying, we want in. And then now they're and I thought, wow, that's kind of a weird thing. But yeah, different cultures and everything.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
go get the cooties all over that, guys.
that's what they're going to bring cooties in here. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's a big issue right now. I seen it on Twitter and I seen it in Google on Google News like twice already. And I was like, oh, they're taking that. They're gonna. I mean, they want to be included.
Oh yeah, I mean they're like yeah, it's like they just can't. They have their fingers in so many different pies, and it's like oh, here's another pie. We can get some attention. Here we go, you
Yeah,
know, and it just keeps fucking happening. They just don't know when to stop, and they're just damn out of control, and it's exactly they're protesting against the exact thing that they need, and it's all been said before, Joe. You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's mad, but yeah, they just can't get it in their heads. And I feel sorry for women because I mean, like for feminism to be leading so many young women, I mean, it's abuse in and of itself. And I think that's what it really is. It's just abuse. It's
Right,
just the lying that they're doing to not only have like skewing their own perception of reality and how the world works, but also just skewing a young woman's
right. That
um
yeah.
like
That's
worldview. That's you know.
on one hand they're saying we want you to become strong, independent, and self-reliant and responsible. But on the other hand, when they do things like this, they're saying invade all the men's spaces, and that's not very strong and independent and reliable.
It's the exact opposite to what they're preaching, and it's exactly what they are. Yeah, it's hard to understand. You know,
So it
I
really
just don't
doesn't
quite get
help
it.
them. I mean, it really. What are you going to get out of going to a celibate male god's temple as a woman just to say I did that?
Yeah, just just for kicks. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
just for
oh,
kicks.
here's a place where there's nothing really going on. Let's spice things up. Let's try and raise some hell. You know,
Yeah,
that's what
let's
it's all
raise some
about.
hell. And
It's just mischief.
yeah, and
You know.
plus, it's never the thought. We talk about not apathy, empathy. Sometimes when you go into in India, there when they go into that now, if they're able to do that now, they're not even considering the men that take that seriously. I mean, the men
Yeah.
don't mean nothing to them. They're just going to trample their rights to be celibate, to worship this apaha. I can't even pronounce that apaha la something like that. But it's Indian, and my Indian's terrible. and,
Mine's worse.
yeah, but yeah, when you make decisions like that, you're saying, okay, the girls want that, so we're just going to throw these all these dudes that were celibate under the bus, and we don't care about your belief or your opinion about the world.
Oh man, it's a bizarre thing. I can't make head nor tail of it. But all I do know is that the life that I live now,
Yeah,
and it's just it's free of problems. My evenings, my weekends, my time off, my holidays, they're free, Joe. You know, and I have that time now to just think and to read the books that I haven't been able to read.
mhm.
Slowly getting around to reading them now. I'm
Yeah,
taking that time out. I'm facing that time alone that I've always dreaded, you know, and I've always gone, oh, well, let's go down to the bar and with the guys, and let's, you know, go do that for the evening, and another evening's gone, and it's just so much easier to just not think about those difficult things to think about, and
mhm.
that's why most people in the world just get involved with relationships and have kids because they think to themselves it's an easier thing. Of course, it's obviously 10 times harder, you know,
Right.
that's obvious.
It goes back to that boredom factor, or that the ability to entertain yourself. I mean, and I know it's most MGTOWs have the ability to entertain themselves, and I play guitar, and I could do that all night long. Some nights, just learn a song, and to learn one song, it's going to take me a whole night, and I'll play it and get it, or I'll sit down with a book, and I do notice that with a lot of the blue pill guys, because my son he has blue pill friends and everything, and I ask them all the time, "Do you guys read?" And they're
Yeah.
like, and
What
they're like,
What are you reading?
what what's no, we don't read, we go on the internet. I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, like it's a strange like it's daft because I mean I see the young kids like growing up now. And it's like, have you even read one book?
Yeah.
Like I have like I was just started my new job there recently, and the project manager, he came over one of the guys who works in the procurement department. He said
Hmm.
he came back to into the office, and he said, oh guys, yeah, because we knew he was going out for like a health and safety test. He came back and he goes, we all go, hey man, how did you get on? He's like, oh, I failed it. And we're like, okay, what did you get wrong, or did you know where you went wrong, or what the
Hmm.
problems were? And he said, no, no, no. You was like 50 questions, and you got one of them wrong. You failed it. The whole thing's a money racket, and I suppose in many ways he's probably right. But then the project manager heard him, and he walked over, and he said, yeah, man, I had the exact same problem. He was like, shit, man, I went to do that test like 3 weeks ago, and I failed it as well. Like, holy shit. And then he was saying, "Yeah, it's okay. Make sure you have the app. There's an app for that now." And then the guy who works in procurement goes, "Oh yeah, well it's okay. I've got this book I was given by the health and safety guy. I just like go and use that, and I'll just give the test a bit more time." And then the PM goes, "Oh yeah, well I don't use those books. I don't like them."
The books are horrible. Yeah.
I was
I,
like, "You morally bankrupt idiot! Like
yeah.
oh, like you're just depriving yourself of just a wealth of information.
Now I've seen
Like."
that with the apps too. I had an electrical inspector I was working with, and he had an app for electrical inspecting, and I thought, well, that does away with things like paperwork and having to read and everything, and having to use an actual thought process.
Oh yeah, like when I was going around the site, like doing all the calibrations with the technicians on the instruments, and it was like, oh yeah. So I was like, guys, where's our paperwork? And they go, no, no, it's okay. This BMX machine, it's okay. It records the up and down. It
Ah,
records like the 5 point calibration on the fucking unit, and then we just send it back. We just save it onto a USB, and then we go up to the office, and it just saves it to the fucking system. There's paperless calibrations. I'm like, what a load of bollocks.
yeah, yeah. Now I
I
had a
mean, obviously, yeah.
I had a big argument with that guy that day because he was doing that job and he didn't know I was an electrician and everything, and he was rating a box, and it's pretty easy to rate a box. You just count up your amps and everything, and he was counting all the amps as singular instead of going, this is 15 amps, this is 20 amps, and this is 30 amps, and we got 150 amp, and
not
that's
real,
not.
not realizing that it's like five fucking circuits or something.
Yeah, he was going 15, 30, 45, and I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. I says,
That's what the app told me.
yeah, that, but if you do the app, you're going to think that. And I was like, you only have one 15 amp circuit for your house. And then he was like looking at me, and I says, you got that job? How'd you get that job without knowing that?
It's shocking.
But
But
he
there's
was.
mass incompetence everywhere, man. It's shocking, and they're just hiring people like crazy now. They're just hiring bodies now.
Hmm. And there's we see it with the feminism, with the 90-day fast track to engineering courses and stuff like that. What can you possibly learn in 90-day fast track without no hands on?
Exactly. I mean, even like 900 days, and you're still like well shy of what's necessary. Plus, that's not including site experience and on the job experience, and like troubleshooting and fault finding, and like you say yourself, Joe, when you were in those like steel mills and you had this machine that wasn't working and it cut out for like the fourth time in like 3 hours,
Yeah,
and the foreman is he's up your ass trying to get a bloody. Oh, there's a big fight across the road here. Oh my god,
cool.
that's brilliant. Yeah, I should probably go over and record it.
Yeah, if the girls are, I hear the girls, are they in it?
No, they're just like standing around, like inspecting their nails and stuff.
Okay.
One of them probably got a chip in them, and they're gonna probably sue.
Yeah, there's never
That's
no.
like four guys. There's like
No.
four guys here, and they're beating the crap. Oh, holy shit! Yeah, I might want to get out of this area. It's getting pretty bad, man. Yeah, I'm in a rough part of town here. They put me up in some hotel here.
Oh,
It's
okay. Oh yeah, you
it's
were in
not.
the hotel. I forgot
That's
that.
right. Yeah, they're looking for accommodation and they can't find it, but they just said no. We need you out here so badly. We don't care. We'll just pay it. You know. It's like you
Nice,
people are crazy.
nice hotel.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's all right. It does the job. Got a nice sticky toffee pudding there a while ago. That was pretty badass.
Okay, okay.
So it's, but you know what they say? It's a minute on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. So gotta be careful with gotta be careful with that shit. You know what I mean?
Got it careful. Yeah, I'm just looking for. Do you got home brews? you got some. What kind of
Yeah,
beer
we
you got
do,
in
man.
the place? What kind of beer you
Um,
got?
I don't really drink beer, you see, so I don't take too much notice of these things. But oh, you know what they have now? They have it's like a forest fruits cider.
Ah,
Yeah,
forest
it's
fruit cider, and is it a
yeah, it's like
malt?
oh man, it's like what the fuck? It's like a blueberry fucking oh, it's off the charts, man. But all the
Oh,
guys are down there just belting them back, you know, and it's like
yeah.
that can't be good for you.
No, all that sugar and you add
Oh,
some malt with that and everything, and it's like, oh boy, that's a fist fight waiting to happen.
oh, that's what we call. I don't know if you have it over. You probably don't have it over in the states, but we have like Bulmers over in Ireland. It's like a cider. But they
Okay,
have a like Magners is this basically the same thing, and it's like this. It's like your standard like say 5.5% cider. It's like they call it a lunatic soup, you know, because it's so easy to drink and then you have like four or five of them, and then all of a sudden you're up on top of like a church steeple or something, like ready to jump, you know. So
yeah,
you're ready to give yourself that massive wedgie on that fucking flagpole, you know. It's like what the fuck, man.
okay,
Holy
yeah,
shit.
that can never
So
be good. Yeah,
no, no. So I tend to stay away from all those sorts of activities because I just can't handle the booze, you know. I know my limits and. I tend to go a bit wayward when I'm under the influence. So I've just stopped entirely, and I just have my sweets and my chocolates and my cakes
okay.
and my all that bad stuff, and I
Uh,
go for runs. I try and iron it out, and that's basically my vices really.
there you go.
But yeah,
Hey, that's good. I've
yeah. So
I've started brewing my own, so it's like a process that needs to happen before I can actually. I simply refuse to give the state money anymore in any way,
yeah,
shape, or form.
oh
So,
yeah,
and alcohol is one of those things where, man, you are giving alcohol and actually cigarettes too. You're giving the state a lot of money when you do them things, them vices.
oh man, like they have you by the balls, man. Like I
Hmm.
mean, every fucking place you go, oh yeah, let's go out for drinks, drinks. Everything
Yeah,
revolves around fucking drinks. It like, yeah, okay. Admittedly, like the English and Irish culture is quite heavily involved that way, but I don't suspect America to be too dissimilar. You know?
yeah, and the state does that. They push it like they push sex. It's it makes them money. It makes them a lot of money. And
Yep. Buy now, pay later. You know, and
yeah,
here's your credit card. Oh, my credit card maxed out. Oh, why was that? You know, we have this saying, you know, in the construction business, you know, it's the seven P's, you know, proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance, you know. So
there you go.
so that's what they're missing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot to being a Mgtow where you can take you take what you learn in Mgtow after a few years and start applying it to your life, and you see it so many other places and everything. And
But the beautiful thing about it is like you keep seeing it time and time again, over and over again,
over,
how right it is.
yeah, how right it is and everything.
Like it must be the most arrogant like system of belief that I've ever come across because like we're just always fucking proven right. I don't care like I don't care where you go. I just keep seeing the same thing and it's like, yep. It's just better off being a MGTOW. It's like
Better off being a Mgtow.
if I had a penny for every time I'm like I just see some bitch and she just starts fucking like she just starts like fucking going ape shit for no reason. So I'm just like walking out there going, yep. better be a Mgtow. It's like every fucking time. I'm like, holy shit! If I had a penny, man,
Yeah, yeah. And I'll bet you
it's
10-1 that fight across the street. I'll bet you there's one thing that caused it.
oh yeah. It's like in this place, right? There's like, it's literally like one street from the one end of the place to the other, and like literally a little town square, but it's got like 16 pubs and one nightclub.
16 pubs at one nightclub. Yeah, that's gonna get. Oh, it's Friday night too. It's like, ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're all out, man. It's not a nice sight, and like this is these they're like they're in their 20s, and it's like a horror show. It's like, can you imagine what they're like in their 40s? Can you imagine how miserable and just like bitter and twisted and jaded and demented and angry and hostile, and the amount of agony that are in those bones? Oh dear,
Hmm.
I'm not getting it. You think I'm gonna get involved with that? Holy shit, you know. So
Yeah, yeah. I remember being young like that and doing those things and thinking, man, I was just fucking nuts, just crazy, and
I prefer the term nook and futs, but yeah, it's all the same thing, really.
nothing but.
And don't forget, Joe, dyslexics are people poo, you know. So just don't forget that one.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah. But the kids, that's what they're gonna do. Most of them end up in jail or getting a harsh lesson and getting a baby mama, which sucks. It's like,
But it's just like whatever about that. It's just people like that was it. It was in that poem by Charles Bukowski. I can't remember the name of it, but he says it 4 times when he reads it out. It's brilliant. People are not good to each other. People are not good to each other.
yeah,
People are not good to each other. And he's right. And I think the poem is called "The Crunch." If anybody wants to look that one up,
the
um,
crunch. Okay.
"The Crunch" by Charles Bukowski. Well, like he's right.
Oh,
I mean,
Bukowski. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But that's exactly it. It's just like whatever about human relationships, between men and women, or women and women, and men, or whoever the fuck you're dealing with. But it's true. I mean, just the common decency has just gone, and it's like I was saying to you before we went live. It's like everyone's like we live in this disposable culture, and the most disgusting, sick thing about it is that we're treating people as disposable too, and that's very, very worrying. It's a cancerous
Right.
thought
Yeah.
process. It's
Yeah, I've been going over the lot in my head, the what I call unconscious cruelty that I see in the world. Uh, it's people just do it unconsciously now. They're cruel to other people. They're harsh to other people. We see it in
but like,
Mgtow. We get it all the time in Mgtow when they come around and they say things to us that they know are hurtful and everything. And that's the only thing I can think is, man, that's just being unconsciously cruel to another human being because you think you can get away with it.
but what do you think is the reason behind it? Do you think it's an evolutionary advantage, or is it a case where it's just like this is the 21st century society, and it's just like, yeah, whoever can fuck over the other person more than they can fuck me over, I'm gonna win. Is it like a because we're all operating off like a win lose like
Right.
negotiation tactics nowadays. It's not. It's never like a win win. It's not like what Carl Rogers would call a helpful relationship. People aren't in those anymore.
No, I think kids get taught it in school now, and from you always when you're in school now, it's before you. I guess it's the curve, sort of. It's like you're always competing with that other guy. Everybody's competing, and then out of that, whatever course you're taking or whatever, there's going to be one person that gets the reward at the end, and they kind of emphasize that, like the best get the reward, and the rest. So people, please tournament, compete with each other, and that goes out into society after years of that kind of study. That's the that's the attitude. You're just competing with the next guy. People become disposable because, well, you have to make them disposable like that.
Yeah, I mean that certainly makes sense. So I just thought that we were kind of like past that. Like, I mean, obviously we're not, but I
No,
mean, like our brain just doesn't realize that there's 600 billion people on the planet, and we can, we don't need to go killing each other. We can be nice to one another. I just thought like That's what baffles me. One would like to think that if we're so clever and we're on with this like 4D
Yeah,
architecture and this like phenomenal advances in technology which we have, and you've got all these wonderful technological advances that everyone knows about, or all these, but like if we can't get the basics of human relationships correct, then like what the fuck are we doing pumping all this money into technology, and we can't even get the homeless person across the road from us a cup of coffee and just say hello and how are you and treat them like the fucking
yeah. Treat him like a
because like
human being, and
that could be you one day.
yeah, that could be you or me or anybody. I know how fast things crumble and fall apart in your life. Sometimes you're okay one day, the next day you're not okay no more. And but it's that utilitarianism in us all now. Uh, it's I see it all the time with the homeless and everything. It's okay to treat them like that, and it's never okay to treat a human being like that. But that's what people are taught. Well, you could see it play out in politics in the macro too. Well, you got one side that's one side screaming for socialism, and one side screaming for utilitarianism, and that side is just I want to be on the top because I know it sucks to be on the bottom.
It does indeed suck to be on the bottom for sure, but there's a lot of like room in the middle too, because
Yeah,
like the society is getting richer and it's like everyone's pulling a bit more out of it. I mean, obviously the whole thing's going to crumble anyway. Oh, there goes the 11 a. There goes the 11 p.m. bell. I'm sorry about that.
11 p.m. bell.
Do you know if you can hear that? Can you?
Yeah. That is that the warning. Get off the street.
Yeah, it's like the curfew for all the scallies. Oh shit! But yeah, no, I got the church here behind me. You see,
Okay.
so but yeah, it's a very sad state of affairs because I don't know. It just like I just I just yeah. I mean, I look in life. I'm in a pretty good position. I
Right.
work for I work for a very like successful company, and I mean, you can basically all you gotta do is like turn up, and that like everything else works so well. I mean, you're already going to be a fucking success. It's it's very hard to kind of put a foot wrong in what I'm doing at the moment. But what I'm saying is that like I just see it just I'm deeply dissatisfied with how human relationships have played out between the average Joe. I just don't I don't approve of it, and I'm not happy about it. I don't like the fact that people have become like cynical beyond repair. I don't like how people treat their families, how they don't contact them, how
Mm-hmm.
there's not more, how just people aren't, they just people don't try anymore with and I mean we all have. I think that's exactly the reason why it is because we're all so frighteningly similar to each other that maybe that scares us a bit more. You know.
Yeah, I could see that. You go to a university nowadays, and then everybody's getting every person that comes through there is getting taught the same thing, and you expected that you're going to do this thing, and you're going to be a little original, you're going to be a little unique, and at the end and everything, and you just realize somewhere during that man, there's 5,000 other people graduating from that university. This and not all of us know exactly the same thing, so that kind of makes me just part of the part of the crowd.
Well, yeah, and supposedly part of the higher echelon of the general masses, but that's no longer the case at all anymore. Because
No,
I'd say if you didn't go to college, you're actually better off. But
yeah, you're
the thing is,
commonplace.
oh yeah, I mean, look, the trades are screaming for people. I mean, I
Yeah,
work
yeah.
in I work in that kind of an industry where the whole thing is run by tradespeople, and then you've got the management who look after them, and who basically manage them, and if the tradespeople like pulled out, like we're done, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the whole the whole fucking system works on foreign labor and like cheap foreign labor, and then you're a tradesman associated with it. Like a lot of them are either skilled or unskilled, but
Yeah.
like these people matter, like big time. And this whole like class divide. I mean, this isn't a new phenomena. I mean, there's been people writing about this for hundreds of years, but you'd like to think that it wouldn't be so much the case anymore. But the division really is still there, and yeah, it just baffles me how we're all too human, but it's it's scary when you realize the depth of the human condition and how flawed it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a choice a few years ago whether to be a technician or whether to use my education or not. And then you're weighing them up and everything, and you're really not seeing much of a difference. And
That's exactly it. Yeah,
at
yeah, you
least
bet.
as a technician, someone's coming to you for your skills. They're going, "Hey, we need your skills and everything." And there's a big demand for that nowadays. But you got to specialize in one thing. Do one thing, and that's always scary to pick that one thing that you do.
Yeah, because you do that one thing and you're missing out on all the other potential. It's all that opportunity cost. It's that
Yeah,
thing that you could be doing while you're doing something else. That's difficult to make that choice. And most people don't actually make that choice. They just end up in a different field by default. Really, I mean that's what happened to me.
right.
Um,
Yeah, you go to another place and well, what do you got? Okay, I can do
yeah,
that.
it's like, well, here we go. I'll try this, and you know, you just got to be in the right place at the right time sometimes, I guess. But
Yeah.
it was a thought I was having there earlier on this evening when I was getting dinner. Um, to cast my mind now back into relation to what it was, but it was quite profound, if I may say so myself. It like yeah, like just in relation to um people and like hierarchies and it hasn't changed all that
Mhm.
much, but how we've yeah like oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So like what we teach in like this is a prime example of the failure of the education system is where you've got like obvious rote learning and all these things that are I suppose necessary for most administration jobs and things of
Yeah.
that nature. um but like what baffles me is people are more interested in behaving according to the law in the country rather than their own moral law.
Hmm.
So what they won't do, what most people will not do, is they won't develop their own like moral compass. They won't actually take those questions and go, right, can you explain to me exactly why it is incorrect to actually go ahead and kill somebody? Can you formulate that argument from first principles and then come up with a solution? And the solution doesn't matter. Of course, the only thing that matters is obviously how you get to the solution. So it's that thought process. But that isn't that like that if you study like the physical sciences and you study certain subjects, you
Right.
will of course encounter that thinking if you're writing, a complex piece of code might be, excuse me, it might be like 5,000 like lines long, and it's trying to, you know, you're trying to extract certain information from images or what certain data or whatever it is. You've got to employ a process, and it's got to be long and detailed and complicated and all that. But what I found baffling is that we don't we don't actually encourage people of all ages, and it should be done before, say, someone is 25 anyway, definitely. Is that we don't teach people to like, why is it wrong to hit somebody? Oh, it's just
Right.
wrong. And your parents will just slap the child and say, no, no, you can't hit Andy. Andy is your friend. If you want to play soccer with Andy, you have to be nice to him. It's like, yeah, well, Andy is annoying. He looked at me wrong, or he did
Mhm.
he did whatever. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to get a bucket of water and pour it over his head and screw Andy. So it's like rather than just having the fear from, say, a parent saying, oh, I'm not going to throw the bucket of water over my friend Andy's head because I'm going to get
Right.
in trouble with my parents. um, but rather than exploring as to why it's wrong to do that and how that makes the other person feel and all those obvious
Yeah.
things, that process is not championed, and that's what I think is going to lead to the demise. the inevitable demise of our society is because we are
Right.
not actually capable of thinking from first principles, and that's very scary.
Yeah, we used to have a traditional set of values that was based on sometimes on religion, sometimes on the family, but we don't have that anymore. There's, religions breaking down. Everybody's questioning that, and but the family's breaking down because of feminism and everything. And these kids are lost without no ethical guidelines. And you have to replace that. If you're gonna like not, if you're gonna become an atheist, the first thing I say is you're gonna have to replace them ethical and moral guidelines with something, either a philosophy like Mgtow, or philosophy in general. You can learn those ethical guidelines from and keep these things in your head the way you perceive life and everything, but you're gonna have to replace with something. I see kids nowadays like with a vacant sort of statism sort of philosophy that I just know that
Yeah.
this is wrong, but I've never asked why this is wrong.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the thing about it is like these questions they take years to answer, and
Yeah,
I mean, I've asked questions about various things. I know I'm probably going to be well into my 40s by the time I actually get a solid answer, or at least I might know the answer to the question, but I can't believe that that's the answer to the question. Like, for example, MGTOW. It's like,
right.
well, why is that avenue correct? It's like, well,
Huh.
wait until you're 35 and
Wait
you'll
till you.
see it's been, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
it'll
and
become
it's
very
not always.
obvious.
We tend to be pessimistic and nihilistic about these things, and it's not always why. I ran into this today a little bit. It's not always why things are wrong to do. Sometimes these moral philosophies and everything with these codes that we live by, like MGTOW, it tells us why these things are right to do, and it gives you direction. And but nihilism takes over a lot of times, and especially on the internet here, that's where you kind of see it very pronounced. And you'll make a comment, and you'll have three people making a nihilistic comment behind that, and you're thinking, well, I'm just giving some guidelines on that, sharing my opinion, and but it's not that and a lot of times it'll be like, well, explain to me how I'm wrong, and
Yeah,
I go down that trap, and then instead of explaining to me why I'm wrong, I'm saying this. I'm going to explain to you why this is right, rather than taking that nihilistic, pessimistic sort of view on everything. But I see this a lot with the pessimism. It's like, yeah, that's what you should be looking for in any kind, like MGTOW, or any kind of like Hobbesian philosophy, or even Marx, or whoever you're always looking to why this is right, why this would work out for me, and employ it in your life because that works for me. And we all live situationally, where it may not work for everybody else, but if I could develop that kind of thinking where, okay, this is going to go like this, is giving you answers to the question as you go.
yeah, for sure, absolutely. And what was I going to say? That yeah, that's exactly it, Joe. And I mean, the thing about it is like the thing about the internet in particular is you've got all these people, and a lot of them are very intelligent people. Like they're reasonably high IQ, could be
Mhm.
very successful, and due to this like nihilistic streak that they have, this existential crisis that they're probably going through, they're just like channeling that energy into the internet where ultimately it's going nowhere. The whole thing just goes fucking nowhere all the time. Like the internet has this like ridiculous um like thwarted sort of like it's just a very strange place really, and I think unless you bring it out into the real world, you can really get lost in it for years, and there's people who live on the internet for just for decades, and it's just bit of a wasted life, really. But
Yeah.
it's like you're almost putting the whole thing on hold. But what I'm saying is, you've got these very, often cases, very intelligent people who have, for whatever reason, not made it in their field for whatever reason. And there's dozens of reasons for that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no need to, that's pretty obvious. But they're, they have this little bit of power on the internet, and they feel like, oh yeah, well, and
Yeah.
in fairness to them, like their depth of knowledge on certain topics might be quite comprehensive, and it's like they're just like checking out, and a lot of people are checking out, and some very very intelligent people, some very capable people, if they were just mentored correctly or they were just given that extra opportunity that they never got, or there's lots of reasons, and
Mhm.
you've got all these people who are like not necessarily falling through the cracks because they're probably still quite doing very well for themselves by anybody's standards, but there's a lot of people who haven't quite made it to where they could be, and they, oh god, they hate their lives, man. They
Yeah.
hate their fucking lives.
Yeah, I see with
And
the new guys around. Well, they come into Mgtow and they start bartering with the Mgtow system. It's right away. It's the and like we were talking about this earlier. Like, okay, we've been around. We've seen all this stuff. We've seen how it works out. We know the risk and everything. It becomes second nature to us and all that. And then you see the new guy coming in, and it's automatically like the guy. Oh, I could just pay this girl $200 a week, and then
yeah,
that and it's like that's just a barter with what we're saying. You're bartering with that, and you're trying to bend that. And what I'm saying is remove all risk. and,
yeah,
I
but
mean,
th- yeah, but like the thing about it is, right? If you've got somebody who's in that situation and they're willing to pay that money for that time, right? So, like it, I mean, of course I would discourage the person doing that particular activity, but
yeah,
I mean, like the thing about it is that they have an emotion there. Excuse me, they have an emotion there,
right.
and like in like that emotional need needs to be, it needs to be fulfilled, right? So, as a consequence of that,
That's
there's
it.
like you can break down that emotion into its like X and Y and Z components, or there could be like six or seven different dimensions of analysis there that is like that needs to be attained. So you've got the obvious ones like love and affection, the need for it. Everybody has that. That's non-negotiable. And to say that you don't, you're telling a lie, right?
Yeah,
So you've got that. Everyone needs that. That's fine, but that can be achieved through various means.
right.
There's like the thing about it is that this is what baffles me is like there's never been more people out there in the world now more than ever that need your help, right? So like you know there'll always be the next charity case. I mean, you can't go emptying out your pockets to everybody, but I'll always say it that charity starts at home, and you'll be surprised if you just take a Sunday afternoon out of your day or whatever it is, or just go down to the local soup kitchen or whatever the hell you've
Yeah.
got, or better yet, set one up of your own if you've got the fucking time. And like what you do, Joe, you always have a spread bed in your house
Hmm.
in Lorraine, and it's like, look, I'm open, guys, but like the thing about it is, there is that need that that person is trying to fulfill, but it almost always gets like convoluted into this like need for sex, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem where, oh yeah, well if I can get sex, I can get all the other things that are associated with that inevitable conclusion, and that's not very helpful because
No.
you certainly don't need the sex, but what you do need is a lot of the things that come along with it, and you can get those from healthy relationships, and they can either be with men or women, and I can tell you
Right.
that for a fact.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of healthy relationships you can have out there. It doesn't have to be sexually romantic relationships. I mean,
Sure. I
I
mean,
mean,
if you look at if you profile that candidate who's requesting those services on that weekly basis or whatever it is,
mhm,
you'll notice the pattern with these people, and they've all got this massive gaping hole in their lives called
right.
lack of a social network outside of say their working life or whatever. So you look at their familial situation, they probably don't have many people to talk to. Like as like as society, goes on as the 21st century is now approaching its like first like fifth over, you'll notice that how many people are living alone now. I mean, I was living in Sweden for over a year, and what I started to notice was like we were looking at different houses because there was people like coming and going from the company, so we were trying to like sort out their housing arrangements. And I was going to look at a few houses to rent, and what I started to notice is all these couples in their 40s, they started like renting out their attics to these like young professionals in their like mid to late 20s, and it's like,
Mhm.
what the fuck is going on here? And it's like they're like the rates they were charging were like, like standard rates for like a two bedroom like semi detached house in the states. It's like, yeah, I'm happy to live here because I've had my relationship now and I want to live alone. So it's like, how many people nowadays are living alone? It's quite a high percentage. So people are living alone now a lot more, and people, especially in Scandinavian countries, they're having
Right.
like fewer kids.
Now,
You know.
uh, I was kind of thinking about that today, a little bit yesterday too, about how the housing market and how the drive for the housing market kind of is driving relationships and stuff. And of course, they don't want families together because you might have, three, four, five, six earners inside of a house, and you want each one of those earners to buy a house.
Yeah.
So splitting up the families, it becomes advantageous for real estate. And if everybody's paying for houses and everybody's doing this and no one, then yeah, that's good for the economy and everything, but horrible for people. I mean,
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, what was I gonna say? But your idea was the best though, that we had like, if we could just get like four MGTOWs in a
yeah.
house, and like, holy shit, can
Oh
you
God.
imagine that?
Yeah, you got a
God, the
company.
government, the government would hate that, man.
Oh, they already did that shaming, didn't they? The failure to launch shaming. Like,
That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like all you single
I
guys
heard about
living
that as well.
together. And it's like, what is all this about? And then
Yeah,
they automatically go, "Are you guys gay?" And you're like, no,
yeah,
men have single guys have always like split up houses as long as I remember, and it's always been common. But nowadays, if you're living with your buddy or something, he's paying half the bills, you're paying half the bills. Man, that's an ideal situation because if you got three or four, like in a house my size and everything, you have three, four guys here, and you're paying a quarter of the bills.
yeah.
Man, you're
It's a
saving
brother.
cash.
You all take turns cooking and
Yeah,
cleaning. It's a brotherhood.
it's a
It's
brotherhood.
brilliant. I've
And
come to like, I've basically reached that point because with my company that I work with, I live with the guys as well. So it's like there's three or four guys to a house, huh?
yeah,
And it's like, it's the construction business, so it's all guys. There ain't no women around. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
It's very rare.
you used
So
to
it's
have
like,
I talked about that a while. The boarding, you used to have boarding houses for men like you and I that we travel around, we do the jobs and everything. You get a you get a boarding house for pretty good, a decent amount if you needed to be somewhere for a long period of time. And used to have them everywhere in America, but the government did away with those boarding houses. They couldn't have that. You know, you gotta. It's
yeah.
even what was there was a movie out recently they put out. It was kind of these independent film movies and everything. Somebody sent it to me, and just the shutting down of the border houses, the inspectors would come in and they would just shut them down. It's like, no, you can't have that. Now what's replacing them is the efficiencies in the motels, where you can get an efficiency for $700 a month, and like a Comfort Inn or something like that, you can now do that. You can live out of a Comfort Inn if you're a single guy. But that's
Oh
seven
yeah.
hundred bucks. Yeah, you get your little kitchen and a bed.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Like we were saying today about just wanting to get that camper out and off you go.
yeah, and that's more tapping into the male. That's another draw on our utility. If I have to live in an efficiency, and it's like, wow, that's another this is a $700 draw on me, and I mean, some guys would like it because you don't have to pay bills because you got heat, you got the electric and everything, and everything's you got water. You don't have to worry about the stupid, silly little stuff that I have to worry about every day here. Uh, but uh, but yeah, it's just everything's when you got four guys in a house. Can you bet that's $700 a month divided by three, and you're buying that fucking house. I mean, you could pretty much
Oh
buy it, and that's nothing. You know what happens great with guys around too? You got a garage, you got it. They got some project, some guy, one of them's working on, and then all four of them start working on the same project.
oh yeah. You start building
Shit
a whole
gets
fucking
done.
build a fucking they build a fucking an empire, man. It's it's the only way to go. It's, in my opinion, it's the only game in town. And,
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a
yeah,
lot of small businesses come from them kind of situations where you had a couple, three or four skilled guys living together and they were doing something in their garage. And all of a sudden you had a small electric company or you had a small company coming out of there because this is what we do real good, you know?
but that's exactly it. Like, I mean, all you need really is you just pick a like a say like an electrical installation. You go around to different places like installing like electrical panels and shit, and you've
Yeah.
got like say three electricians, one accountant,
Hmm.
manager, and then and some other guy doing the advertising and sales and like the legal shit or whatever it is, and you've got the like 5 or 6 guy operation. Now, no more than 5 or 6 guys, because once you start bringing more than 5 or 6, it gets
Yeah.
shit gets messy. But
Yeah.
you can make a lot of money doing that. Set up your own like consultancy firm. The guys you bring on board, you've been working with them for years. They're all trustworthy guys, and they ain't gonna let you down.
Yeah.
That's what you need. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
you've got these large companies now, and they're just bringing like foreign labor, and people keep coming and going all the time. It's all about contracts, and it's all about fucking
Hmm.
rates, and it's just you just lose so much. The efficiency is just crazy. It's like bring in just the small time guys, just
Yeah. Just a
not many
couple guys
people,
doing that.
but they're
I
gonna
mean,
work their 10 hours a day and they're gonna get it done and they're gonna make a lot of fucking money. And I think that's the future of it, as well as the gig economy. That's the future of it. Just a
yeah.
smaller group of people being
Oh,
trusted.
yeah.
Like what
Like,
they used to do before is like they used to live in what was it? Like I think that yeah, that was it. Like with the monks, that they used to live in like monasteries and shit. I mean, that was a phenomenal setup, man. Holy shit.
yeah, those guys, they didn't have a lot to do. They, invented beer.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good living. And like I say, you get a couple of skilled tradesmen. You like the boxes. Uh, every electrical box different. I seen a couple of my buddies do this. They started up a business and they lived together and they just did them in their garages. And then you need like 3 panel switches and stuff. So you punched holes in them. You design the boxes individually for the needs of the machines. And
yeah.
how many people in jobs don't do that no more? And I mean, I have hole punches, things I used hole punches, and that's like an old forgotten skill. Everybody goes out and buys like a standard Allen Bradley box, and it's
Yeah.
like, no, a lot of these things call for custom stuff, and you got two guys that live together. They share. They got a lot of money. Hey, we can buy 30 of those boxes and start punching holes in them, and designing them to the needs of the customer rather than these standard boxes that you get, stuff like that. There's 100 million different little things guys do, from working on cars to electrical stuff to, I mean, building bikes to, you could do anything. I always thought the greatest the thing would be on a street if we got one welder, one guy welds, one guy makes a tire, one guy does this, one guy paints, one guy, and it goes from garage to garage, and then you got something that resembles a company and an assembly line.
Yeah.
But
It's
people don't
like I
think
was
that.
reading that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man.
I was just going to finish. People don't think that way anymore. There's no cooperation.
That's it. Well, there's these like teams, but they're not really teams at all. It's
Yeah,
just everyone's out to take what they want, and then the whole thing just like falls on its fucking ass. It's like you're trying to fry. It's like you're trying to fry the egg, and it just, you've just spread it out too thinly, and the whole thing just collapses like a big crepe.
yeah, yeah. I was sitting
But
around with my friends one day, and I was just kind of noticing that we had a cooling guy. We had a stainless steel guy there. He bends stainless steel. We had two two tool and die guys, and I'm a millwright, and I put things together and everything. And I thought, it would take nothing for this group of guys to sit around and start pumping out beer coolers, really good
oh
looking
yeah,
beer coolers, stuff like that, or refrigerators or something like that. You have all the skills needed in that room to do that. And I was trying to get that across to the guys, but they're, happy in their jobs. They're happy with their lives. They're happy with the girls. they're happy with that kind of thinking. No, no exclamated thinking. No, that was crazy to them. That these five guys sitting in that room could start a corporation.
Oh, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes someone to have the drive to do it and just to be fearless for a while. And you know, you can lead the market fucking. You can blow the market out of the water if you have the right fucking idea. I mean,
Yeah,
that's with
yeah,
the
of
right
course.
drive behind you.
Yeah, you need
But
one guy with a vision on where it's going to go, but it's not that hard. But I men don't think, and that's the breaking up of families too. I mean, I often think, in my family there was 8 people, 9 people, and at one point we were all making salaries, and it's just like, okay, everything from that family just dissolves, and everything. Real successful families, real successful families stay together under one roof, and then they group their incomes until they own something bigger. I seen major corporations and restaurants. There's a family down around the corner I like to use as a they have a chain of Italian restaurants. But that all came from these 5 kids living in the same house and saying, okay, we got 5 incomes. That's a lot of money a year. Instead of everybody doing everything individually. And it's a very successful thing, but families are breaking down. Men are breaking down. Men are individualistic, and the government loves it because, oh yeah, you're selling much more houses. You're selling pipe dreams to kids about weddings and marriage and getting the right girl. Of course, you're going to need, if you're an individual minded person, you're ultra individualistic, you're going to need some assistance from a woman. Then,
well, that's what they want you to think, innit?
and that's what
They
they
want
want you
you
to
to think.
think, instead of reaching out to a friend, reaching out to a buddy. Not put all that testosterone and say, hey, we work good together. You want to do this? We there's a lot of things we can do, but men are so that failure to launch thing, that thing, that shame. If I don't have a woman, if I don't get together, and if I don't shower her with gifts, and the whole community thinks that I'm this great guy that's making it on my own. You know, it's like, wow, that's so lame. But that's the world now we live in.
And that's exactly it. And it's a sad state of affairs how you know um, it's just such a shallow view of such a complex problem. It's baffling how it's such a low like resolution representation of what's actually possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unhelpful and it's downright dangerous to be thinking
Yeah,
that that's the best approach.
your sound is getting a little low. You got it away from you.
Oh, sorry. No, is that a bit better?
I can adjust it here. Oh,
Right. I might jump my volume a bit. It was okay for quite some time.
oh, there it goes. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Turn up as well. There we go. System volume. Oh shit. Hmm. Yeah, well, that's about. You still here, Joe? Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it sounds a lot better now.
All right, sweet. Um, but yeah, it's a baffling thing how we're just missing so much of the fucking about how people are missing so much of the fucking puzzle. I just
Right.
don't get it. I mean, but it's certainly refreshing to be on the winning side. I'll tell you that much. And
Yeah.
I raise a glass in reverence, and it's sweet victory every night, Joe. Sweet fucking victory.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, you were going through this sort of harsh time. I mean, you were things were a little. You seem a little bit more upbeat. With time, everything changes and everything. But I mean, we're going to go through those periods of time where Mgtow looks harsh and it looks desolate, and then you know,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that's a, that's a
there's going
lot
to
of
be those times, but it's up to you. You learn something through those things. It's up to you to pull yourself out of that rut or whatever is happening or however you're feeling, and get back on the bike and like, hey, I want to make myself happy. I'm responsible for my eventual happiness in life, and nobody else is going to do that.
exactly. That's exactly where you at, and that's exactly where it stands. And yeah, for sure. I mean, I was losing my. Not that I was losing the run of myself, but I was missing the point, and I guess I was not seeing everything clearly. Really, and yeah, I was just trying to realign my focus and priorities, and things like that. But yeah, I just had to get out of Sweden. That place was driving me nuts. So
Yeah, Sweden was
I'm
driving
out
you.
of there now. I'm out of there now, so I'm much happier now because of that. It
Yeah,
was nice.
new.
It was nice to get. It was a good place to go to get away for a while, but I I mean I could have been there for another 6 months, another year. That job never fucking was going to end, so I just had to get off it. It was driving me nuts. But
Okay,
so yeah, I'm over here now, and I'm much happier. I'm in the UK now, so
okay.
but yeah, definitely. It's easy, especially when you're younger, to kind of go like, oh shit. I mean, surely the relationship between men and women can't be that bad. Surely we need to give him another shot.
Yeah,
Surely,
yeah,
surely there must be a way that we haven't yet thought of.
yeah, we can bargain with those things. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
I see most men doing, bargaining bargaining with their desires. I want this, and yeah, the traditional
Oh.
relationship is great.
Well, I was
It
talking. It's like I was talking to this girl, and she was from Estonia. And oh yeah, see those Eastern European women. You see, yeah, man, they're different. They've
oh,
got something. They've got some additional perspective that other women don't have. Which of course is all bollocks.
yeah,
The
they got
you
some
know,
other parts that we don't know about.
yeah, yeah, they have like a. I mean, I know they say the cows have four stomachs. But she's got something else going on. uh,
Oh man,
she's got some fucking whack ass. She's got some whack ass midsection shit going on. I never seen that before. So it's what you make of it. But no, I just yeah, it was. I had to give myself a fucking wake up call, really, and just realize that yep, I'm on the right track, and as you once says, a Gaga, I'm born this way.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we put some expectations into our life, and we get taught that our whole lives about traditionalism and the white picket fence, and you're going to have this lovely girl, and then them are made up things. And I like to look at Freud's breasts. Whatever you're drawing up in your head, the world is not going to come close to them. Them breast and perfect breast. Women in the world don't have that. We see that with anime and stuff. They draw these pictures of these over accentuated females,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the women out there, they're never going to hold up to any of those kind of fantasies. Them were Freud's
Uh,
breasts.
well,
And
yeah, but
life's like that
it's
too. You could draw up this big, huge fantasy about what you think life is going to be, but it's never going to fulfill. It's never going to be that. There's just going to be free beer and clowns, and it's always going to be sunny and 72 degrees. No, that's not true.
yeah, eat cakes and days off.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And that's the way traditionalism and traditional marriages are in that it's appealing. I'll tell you, they got the most appealing thing in the whole world there. That's what most guys they get into this fantasy world about that.
Mm.
Traditionally, it's like, oh, I'm gonna come home and she's gonna be wearing this thing, and there's gonna be cakes and pies baked, and she's gonna be like, I'm so happy to see you, and she's wearing this lovely dress and her hair is perfect.
Yeah, and
No.
there's Yeah, and it's like I'm gonna put them buns in the oven. There's gonna be a bun in the oven. There's gonna be an actual bun in
Yeah,
the
you
oven.
can have
You
like
know, and
little
it's
kids
like
running around that are all perfect little kids. That's the fantasy we draw up in traditionalism in our head. Them are Freud's breasts. It's never going to be that way. It's going to be clumsy and it's going to be harsh and she's going to yell all the time and she's always going to be unhappy. That's the reality.
yeah,
People hate MGTOWs for saying that too. They hate us for shattering that dream.
they hate the honesty. They can't
Yeah.
believe that it's the case, and they don't understand how difficult the human condition is. You know, and I mean, that was another thing I wanted to say as well. Was what was it about the sensitivity? So it was you go out there and you'll meet other you'll meet people and you'll bump into people as you go through life and you'll see different types of individuals and different perspectives and perceptions and ways of life and ways of thinking and ways of interacting with the world. And I know I'm talking a bit like wishy-washy voodoo shit, so I'm gonna try and keep it quite simple. So like you'll meet different, you'll meet different people from different walks of life, and you
Mhm.
go, oh, well, she was nice, and she seems like, maybe I'll give her a shot. Maybe she's, you know what I mean, that diamond in the rough, that person who the MGTOWs haven't found yet, and
Yeah.
and then of course it just inevitably the cracks start to show and
Right.
and then all of a sudden you realize, yep, we're back to square one, guys. It's like how physicists at the moment can't really, like, they haven't really proved like the standard model of particle physics, where they've got this like they've just basically got this like list of excuse me they've got this like list of facts about different like particles, and it's a pretty ugly theory, but ultimately, and that's what the Mgtow theory is, it's a pretty ugly collection
That's pretty
of
ugly.
dismantled almosts,
Yeah.
but like at the end of the day it's not fucking wrong.
Yeah, it's practical and it works and everything. And it
It's
basically
pretty
make
rough
those
around. Yeah.
you learn how to navigate your own life and with relationships and women and everything and everything. I don't even think about feminism no more and all that bullshit. That's all garbage. Uh, the relationships like I have in my life is I explained it with you're moving around.
Yeah, I'm going back to my hotel, man. I'm done.
You done? Okay.
I'm done, man. I'm
Yeah.
out. No, I just gotta go to bed, man. I'm fucking like this, man.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say the relationships MGTOW builds, like Jane the sandwich girl. I say I go up there, she makes me a sandwich, she smiles, she's nice. I mean, she fills that little bit of void up in my life where, like, and she's like, "Hey, Joe," she's happy to see me. I'm not going. I'm only going there for one thing. I'm going there for a sandwich and maybe some soup and some potato chips someday. And then I fill a lot of those little things in my life with just
I
regular
feel the
relationships.
exact same way. Jane the Sandwich Girl is like my favorite person in the whole
Yeah,
world because the interaction is like not even 5 minutes, and it's a great part of my day. And I
yeah.
walk out there with my club sandwich and my cup of coffee, and I'm going, yeah, life's good, man. You know what I
Life's
mean?
good. Thank you.
And
You know,
somebody else can take care of that seeping mess.
yeah. Somebody else could take care of all those problems. I get the good part. She makes me a sandwich. And you can do
That's
that
it.
with a lot of people in your life too. You fill those little voids and little holes with. They say that MGTOWs isolate ourselves. We don't isolate ourselves. I can't isolate myself. I need people out there. I need to go to the grocery store. I need to go to the gas station. I need to go to the sandwich shop. I need to go to the convenience shop, the chicken shop. And I do all these, and I have these little interpersonal relationships with all these people, and I like them, and they like me, and I'm a better person that then they don't get this nasty person that comes in there that's got a nagging wife at home and it reflects in everything they say. They get Joe, they get the nice Joe, and then it's perfect, and my life's perfect, and it works out that way. And there's never no shortage of people wanting to come around.
But then my problem with that is going back to what I was saying originally about like how everybody is like disposable, right?
Right.
So like that was pissing me off because I was going, yeah, it's great to interact with Jane the Sandwich Girl in that manner, and that's
Mhm.
fantastic. But then it it seems to kind of run contradictory to the thing that I don't like about the whole like disposability aspect. But in that way,
Right.
tell me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but it
Oh,
seems like yeah,
people aren't disposable. I mean, I need that in my life. I need the biggest heartbreak in my life in the last 3 years when they fired the two chicken girls that made perfect fucking chicken. I was like, damn,
yeah,
don't. And I was like, I need that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It was like
Shit.
having a breakup or something. I was like, I really, can you just hire him back?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you
But
said
they're
it.
not disposable. I don't make anybody do that. I want those people to be there for the rest of their lives, and I want to be happy, and I want to be have a happy community here, and we all get along, and they do their thing, I do my thing, and every life's groovy, you know. but
Yeah.
yeah, things don't, generally it's situational too. Like I said, everybody's situationally different, and what you want, what you need, what you desire from life, and everything. You fill a thousand little holes in Mgtow. But you're going to feel better after that because, man, I came out of a 16-year marriage with a thousand little holes in me, and just not knowing how to act at all, not knowing how to. And well, I got to go get a girl. And it's like, no, you don't. You gotta fill those fucking holes yourself.
And it was a mammoth task. You did it. You know.
Yeah,
In many ways, I suppose you're still doing it. You know? It's I don't think you'd ever be able to fill up all those holes. To be honest with you, I don't think any person would do this kind of
yeah,
thing on it.
yeah. Life's like that. You're gonna notice you're gonna notice something's empty in your life. Like you just went through something was empty. I got to figure this shit out. I got to figure this shit out now on a dime, and it's me. It's up to me to figure this shit out. When I go like I'm sitting there and I'm fidgety or something's not right, and I get this feeling something's not right. I mean, I Big Tow's a learning experience where the more I do it, the more I learn how to take care of myself. The more I learn how to make myself happy. The more I learn, you know, I could, you know, I ask myself questions. It's like you take that look at yourself. They call it wait, with cancer patients, I can't remember what they call it, where they take deep looks into themselves and they just like, okay, what's missing today? Do I need water? Do I need to, is my medicine right or stuff like that? Well, we do that in MGTOW. We take these looks into ourselves. We call introspections, and it's like, what's missing in me now? Once I get all this stuff fixed, uh, life is life. Life is entropy. Uh, everything busts. Everything's not perfect. Life's chaos. But at a dime now, at a drop of a dime, I'm not stuck for years anymore. I may be stuck for a week.
Well, you've got a path that you've built around it. You know, you've got a path that you've built around it. So it's like you just start taking those paths that make sense.
Yeah, yeah. Do what's good for yourself. You almost to your motel room.
I'm back in now.
Okay, you got a mini bar.
Ah, we do. I might go down and get a beverage and lock me out.
Okay,
I think.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, don't hit up that mini bar in your room. That shit costs.
But I ain't paying for it, so I don't care.
You're gonna pay $7 for a little bottle of wine.
Oh, Jesus, that ain't good.
Yeah. Or what is the last time I paid? I think it was $10 for this bottle of Jameson's. It was this big.
Holy shit.
I was like, no, no, I don't want to use the mini bar.
Not anymore. Not after that. Not after that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but MGTOW's a journey and it's a learning experience. And unless you're open to the whole learning experience, It's going to take a while, but open yourself up. There's what do we call that? Just enlarge your world, and it's easy then. Things get easy.
Yeah, time, man. Time is what's needed. You need that time to you know expand those sort of those sort of avenues that you haven't fully fleshed out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's not generally gonna, life's like I said, it's entropy. Everything in life's entropy. Things are gonna change. Things are gonna suck sometimes. Things are gonna, it's not always gonna be happy, happy. 21 when you're 18 to 21 years old. It's like that's not gonna happen. Nobody gets those kind of lives. Uh, but
You bet.
you learn to live with what you are. And that's the good part about Mgtow. We see all the incels. They're never learning how to live with what they are. And I think that's the biggest problem most incels have is you look at the classic incel case of Elliot Rogers. I mean,
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Elliot
He was
never.
full of shit.
I mean, he could have used a little Mgtow. It's like learn how to live with what you are and be happy. Uh,
He was a prime example of that gone wrong.
yeah.
He could
Now that others, that
have
evil,
used some of that knowledge.
that dark side came out on him, and it's like, oh, well, never being happy and always complaining. I see that in so many of the incels around. And that searching for the perfect girl goes along with that too. Uh, no, that's not true. It's just that's a big lie, and there's not that perfect girl, and I mean, learn how to life.
Yeah, big time, man. He was the classic himself. Yeah, he was the classic incel, is what I was saying, Joe.
He was a classic insult. He was a classic case, but we could take those guys and we look at them and we go, what went wrong there? The guy had everything. He drove around in a Mercedes Benz. He wasn't a bad looking guy. He comes from two rich parents in Hollywood. I mean, what could possibly be wrong there? Well, what was possibly wrong with all that is as much as he had, what was wrong with him was himself and the inability to navigate within your own skin.
Yep. That's exactly it. I mean, I don't know if you read his manifesto. It was I haven't read it all, but I read bits of it. He really didn't like himself at all.
I see a lot of guys kind of resemble that. A lot of new MGTOWs, and I give new MGTOWs every break in the world when they first come around. Because I know where they're at. They're all in that Elliot Rogers place. The life doesn't look. You seen the red pill? Life doesn't look right. Something's wrong here, and they're confused, and they want to try to bargain with the devil, and there's no bargaining with the devil. That PUA, that traditional world and everything. There's no bargaining with that. That's an illusion.
People can take it. You can just blow people's minds. I mean, some people can take it very well. Others people they'll never recover from the information because I think every guy knows that it's exactly the way it is. It is the way
Yeah,
it is. But to actually accept it and then to live with the consequences. I mean, most guys just can't do that.
yeah, yeah. Doug is giving me the runaround here. He wants something.
I wonder what that could be.
What do you want, Doug? Yeah, I know what you want. A cannon to go outside.
Say his freedom.
He wants his freedom. He wants to run, but he wants to come back here for a can.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to learn how to hunt.
He's too lazy for that. You have him spoiled, Joe.
Yeah, he's a spoiled little fat guy now. But people are like that, aren't they? They want to run, they want to get out, they want their freedom, but when they get out there, they're like dogs that don't know how to hunt. Men are
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I mean, men dart out of the house and they're like, "Ooh, I'm out," and then they look around and go, "What am I going to do now?" I'm so screwed. Oh, did you say you're getting ready to hit it?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it and quit it, yo. I'm gonna head to bed, bro. I'm fucking out, man.
You're okay. Okay, we'll wind this thing down. You got anything you want to say to the guys or
Nothing in particular. It's just you just got to remember where you came from and why you got here in the first place, and you
yeah,
just gotta go look at the older. Yeah, I think like Zeta's channel is still up. You gotta look at Zeta's channel. He's got all the hangouts. They provide a wealth of information, conversations that we had from like 2 or 3 years ago. Very worthwhile stuff. If you're new, take a look at that. That stuff's fucking imperative. Real big shame that Shining's channel got taken down. That was a real pain in the ass. He had a lot of good material on there,
yeah,
and messengers videos as well, of course. And I don't know where Stain's gone. I don't know if he's gone for good. He had a shit ton of fucking chats on his fucking street. Like holy shit, he had loads. But yeah, go look at those previous conversations because I think everything has been discussed. Like Messenger said, everything's been fucking discussed before. Like there's a lot of stuff that I was going to try and go back and save, but people have removed the videos from their channels and various. So there's been thousands of hours there in total
right,
of excellent dialogue, and it's well worth looking over again because it'll answer all of your questions and more. And
yeah,
anything we say from now on beyond that is just after the fact, and I suppose really it's just this is therapy at this stage.
yeah. Like I said, I got 1,000 videos on private now from conversations like this that I had to take down because I never know what's going to get flagged anymore. I have no idea what's going to get flagged. I mean, I would like to go through every one of those and put them all back up, but that would be I have to spend hours and hours editing each one of them to take out
Oh no,
anything that
you don't want to
might
you
be
don't want to
taken the wrong way.
you don't want to edit them anyway. That's for sure. But because that just loses the message, I think. But well, I'd really appreciate. Could you send me some of those videos? Like I don't know how you might be able to do that. Could you put them on the cloud or something on Google Drive or something? Or
Yeah, if you want to, I was going to offer this at one time. I got those videos on private. I can put most of those old videos on unlisted and then add you
yeah,
to it. And if you want to
yeah,
watch them, you can go back and watch these things and everything. If I could figure out just how to do that, would take me probably a day to do it. But
that would be I think invaluable. But I was gonna. My idea was we'd like to set up like a server of all like older videos and books and
right,
manuals and pamphlets and kind of get that thing going. That would be valuable too.
yeah, yeah, I could drop them on Amazon or something and do it that way. And if I probably should do that instead of just lost, it's all lost time and lost conversations and everything. That would be the big that's the big that's the shame of it. If everything gets lost, then what do
What was
we really
alive?
do? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I felt the same way. It was like we had so many great evenings, like hours of conversation and chat, but it's just seemed to because the videos have now been gone from YouTube. It's like, well, where did all that time go? You know?
yeah, yeah. But if you can think of one you want to see, and you can think of the topic or something, just let me know if you want to. I could open it up and everything. And I've been thinking about opening some of them up, but I just have to. It takes if I got to do that, I got to sit down and listen to 4 hours of myself talking.
Oh God, fuck that. I know, I know.
And yeah, so that's
There's some great little like nuggets of information. But sometimes
yeah,
it can be like a 5 hour conversation. Like you remember when what was that guy's name? He was over in what was his name? The guy with the weird avatar. He had like a oh Jesus, I have to think his name. But he was over in like it wasn't Stephen Haven, it was somebody else. It was some other guy. I'll get you his name again. I'll look at his name and I'll find out his name again. But
Okay.
he was very insightful. There was just certain people that were they had some great things to say, and like
Oh.
like all the guys
Oh,
like
the ones from the
Joey.
guy from Scotland.
Possibly. He had like it looked like a labyrinth, like a
Yeah.
fucking labyrinth. I'll find it. I'll link it to you in a while. I'll find it. But it was
Okay.
like, yeah, it was just very help. He just had a lot of good things and shit to say, and
Yeah. Was it?
a lot of people dropped by here over the years.
He did the sort of existential historianism of uh what was that? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to recall his name. Oh, not you, Cyrus.
No, no. Here I'll see if I can find him. I'll just find a different tab on, cause no, it was just he was in a really unusual like time zone. He was hard to get a hold of, but he was really interesting. Fuck, is it gone now?
Oh, I'm thinking about
Oh
Osiris. Was he was? Yeah.
no, this guy didn't speak very often, but he went on a podcast maybe like last summer, like maybe May of 2017. It was like that length of time.
Okay.
Um, Let me think now for a second. Go back to Hangouts.
Can't remember. It was around that time. Male feelings and the redheaded guy and the regular crew. There was Osiris for a while. There was a
Armchair,
armchair.
Mgtow Indian.
Mgtow Indian.
Yeah, yeah. All those guys.
Okay.
We had, where the fuck is he gone? You see. Oh, this will take me a while. Oh, here's his avatar. Got it. So let's see. Let's see all the people in the hangout. People. Ah, yeah. Hallowed Unrest. That was it.
Oh,
That was
hallowed
the guy.
unrest. Okay.
Yeah, that was the guy. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he had a different name previous to that. But he was a cool dude. But like, there was like a 6 hour conversation with like, staying free yourself, hallowed
Okay.
unrest. I think I went in for an hour or two. Johnny Midnight went in there. John Kramer went in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Sits like Inu was in there as well. All those guys, and it was like ridiculously good.
Okay.
And
I'll
like
look for that one. Put it back up.
everybody who was anybody was in that. It was just like, but like most of it was like just crap. But like there was two or three fucking sentences that people were saying every now and again, and it was like fucking revolutionary shit. I was like, oh my god, if we could just archive this.
Okay. I'll look for it. I'll look for it and put it back up. Okay.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm gonna let you get to sleep, and I gotta put the dog out and get him another can of food, and try to find a way to relax on a Friday. Well, it's 7 o'clock here still, so I got a long night ahead of me, and find something to do. I might pedal my ass up to the store and say hello to people,
Get some beer and
get some beer, and try to find a movie or something. I don't know.
it's a
But
shame with the time zones because it's like midnight here now, so
yeah,
I'm
it's
flat.
midnight for you and 7 o'clock for me. It's been hard to get a hold of you lately.
Yeah, it's been
But
next to impossible. I apologize. I keep getting home from work and all I want to do is go to sleep. So,
yeah, I understand that.
so
Okay. And
yeah.
with that, I'm going to thank everybody from coming around and some new guys, Robin Banks, Wet Rabbit, Alan Romanoff, Staying Free was in for a few minutes there. Uh, Prune Juice Power, all the regular guys that come around, Joey, Red Pull Jack was around, Stroil 810, and Gravy Back Gill. Thank you guys for coming and listening. And that's about it. That's all I got today. And most of all, like I always say, thanks a lot, men, for being MGTOW. MGTOW.